1, 2, 3. Hey y'all, and welcome back to our channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. We are known as the Hale Sisters, and I'm Kristin.
I'm Megan.
So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going into an episode on our new series entitled Family Ties. So this episode is going to be on friendships, and we're just going to cover a wide array of friendships and just different, tools and opinions that we have on them, and then just different things that we have seen. And so basically we kind of decided to do this because we feel as though, like, in our society, in our generation, we kind of have a mindset of no new friends.
Oh, yeah.
So we kind of want to just shine a light on those situations and just talk about that. So first, since I'm a female, I want to start with like the female friends. And so as females in society, I feel like we get labeled, like even if we think of like music groups, like we get labeled as unsuccessful or not necessarily unsuccessful at our craft, but unsuccessful at being able to work together.
Right.
And they'll break up because they're a girl group because they just won't get along. And we've seen different girl groups that have broken up because of situations like that. And it's like, it's either y'all are fighting over something or a guy is involved or just a whole bunch of drama.
Causing drama, yeah.
Yeah. And so for me, one thing that I always used to want in life was a group of girlfriends, like girlfriends to show. Like I always wanted that to be like my reality. I always wanted that to be my reality, and so I thought that I would like find them in college and things like that, and didn't end up happening. So
like your group of girlfriends?
Right.
Go
Exactly.
To.
And so when it wasn't happening in college, I kind of just like adopted that narrative that girl groups are like unsuccessful and it wouldn't work out because I would have like 1 or 2 friends, but like that would be the most of it. But yes, I'm grateful to say that now I don't believe that narrative. God has truly blessed me with some dope group of girls, and
you know who you are.
So it's really interesting for me too because I grew up with a best friend, and so I felt like there was only one best friend you could ever have in your life because she's literally been like my best friend since kindergarten. So like I just felt like that was all that you can have and yada yada yada. And so now to where I am now, just seeing that you don't have to be so narrow-minded, and there's a lot of different people who can pour into you on the same level and on the same caliber, but they're just bringing you different things in life. And so with having no new friends, you're missing out on all of that information, all that wealth of knowledge that people are pouring into you, and things that you're learning, and different resources that you can have and things like that. But
yeah.
What's your take on what I was talking about?
I mean, well, quick question. So like when you were talking about or referring to like girl groups, I feel like that's just the easiest example. Did you feel like it was just something that was not sustainable, or did you feel like it was more like a fantasy, like unrealistic?
I understand. I feel like it was a mixture of both. I feel like I started to believe like it was a fantasy, like that was TV. And like in reality, that doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
Because I would see like a lot of like, we either start off all as friends or things like that. But I think since I created that fantasy in my head, like when negative things start to happen, like arguments or bickering, or 2 people are closer or 3 people are closer, like now it's starting to, they don't show you that in the show, you know what I mean? So I was creating my fantasy off of all of the positive. So when negative did approach, I felt like it was not sustainable because it wasn't right, or this isn't what it's supposed to look like. So I missed the mark. Let me try again.
Got it.
In that sense, and then also like I also don't feel like the people were the right people either
to be trying to like
be a group.
I get that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's imperative to know your audience, but also know yourself to see like, are these people, girlfriends or whatever, guy friends, is this the group of people that I want to claim as like my group of friends, and like are they gonna like help mold me to like my next steps? You know what I mean? Like, or can I rely on them? Like, is this like a lifelong friendship? Is this more like a low-key, like we just got a contract for this year, and then after that, you know, ain't no telling how close it's gonna be? Because I feel like sometimes I believe like you can have a lot of friends, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I feel like people try to hold on to friendships that was truly just supposed to be like temporary or like seasonal, like as to just even like how close you guys were. Like, we're cool, we're still friends, but that don't mean like that's your like road dog, that's your homegirl, your homeboy. Like, I personally don't feel like that is like always the case, where it has to be a lifelong friendship. So I think that that's something that I just see a lot of times in friendships where it kind of does go left because like, you know, they be trying to hold on things. But, you know, that's just me. Do what work for you. But I wanted to know, and like I'll kind of give my opinion on it as well, as to kind of the why behind sometimes why female groups and like girlfriends and things like that don't always like last. My question is, do you feel like it's because like females are just simply too emotional compared to like, you know, guy friendships and things like that? You feel like girls just like, or females just apply a lot more emotion to it, so like sometimes they can come across like too emotional, which is why their emotions get the best of them and then it'll ruin a friendship? Or do you feel like, no, like I don't think that that's that, I think it's just simply for boys and girls, they just handle it differently?
I feel like guys are quicker to forgive each other, and we've seen that plenty of times, like just in life. Like they be arguing, and next thing I know, like they like it's cool, like it never happened. I just feel like
I don't understand.
Right? Obviously there's levels to that, but I just think in general they are quicker to forgive one another versus women. I feel like we need so much. I feel like we need an explanation. We need to know your reasoning behind it. Yeah. Why did you do it? Why did you choose to do it at that time? Why did you choose to talk to me in that tone? Like, and I just think that, I don't know if I would say necessarily that we're more emotional. When, we are more emotional beings than men, but
I said too emotional.
I don't think it's that we're too emotional. Okay, so I will say that. I don't think it's that we're too emotional as much as we're too, I guess it's like detail oriented in a situation. Like, I feel like we want too many details, and a lot of times we can't handle the reality of those details. Gotcha. And so we take those details and run with them, when it was like, if you could have just been like, the root of it was I felt disrespected, or the root of it was I was hurt. Regardless of why you chose to do it, how you chose to do it, whatever, like, I was hurt. Like, are you going to apologize? Am I going to accept it? And are we going to move forward? But I feel like we just have so many layers and reasonings and explanations that causes that. Okay. Does that answer your question?
I mean, it's definitely
like they're just too emotional.
It's personal opinions. I mean, I used to always, okay, not always. When I grew up, like as I was growing up, I originally started like sports-wise and stuff in basketball. And the league I was in was like all guys, and there was like 2 girls, including me. So literally, I was used to dealing with like boys, you know what I mean? Like, and so I personally preferred it from the sense of it's easy. You just deal with it, you get sick of them, and then you just move on. So as I grew up, like I was a very like girly girl, like exterior, but like I feel like sometimes my mentality was like, bruh, it's just not that deep. Like, who cares? So I could tell in my friendships at times, because I would approach it that way and they would approach it like Kristin, from like, I just need, not saying that Kristin does it specifically, but like, I just need detail and like all of these things like a lot of females do. And so it didn't make sense to me. And so I would say that females are just simply too emotional and they just do too much. Like, But now, like growing up, you know, maturing, I do think that sometimes women can be too emotional. Females can be too emotional in certain situations, like how they handle it and things like that. I say that because sometimes, like, from a guy's, like, if it was a guy situation, like you said, like they fight, you know, and then the next minute or next day, it's like, okay, we good or whatever. Or they might just do a simple, like, let me dap you up, and that's how you know, like, hey, like, it's all love. Yeah. Versus girls or females are just like you said, I want to sit down, have a whole conversation. I want you to call me. I'm not calling you. You call me. And then when you call, I need you to come to me in a certain tone so that I can know that it's genuine. Like, all that is a lot. And I feel like a lot of times females do that, but I really feel like the root of it is a lot of times guys are like very black and white in their thinking, and girls always just go through the shades of gray. Like, it's not like they're like, because it's light gray, it's dark gray, it's charcoal, and then it's black. You know what I mean?
Swatches.
So I feel like a lot of times in those type of situations and things like that, it can come across as females are being too emotional when it's simply just like, we just think different. But I do think sometimes that is kind of why like friendships start to sink and things like that, because now you're like kind of putting your personal opinion on like how the person said it or what the person said, like versus, and this is just me because I'm not a dude, so I don't know, but versus like when guys be like, bro, he said he's sorry, so like he's sorry, we're moving on.
It's like they take their word for it,
yeah.
Versus we take all of the environment.
Yes, we need you to literally act it out, narrate,
correctly,
do a whole dance, create me a song, and then play it for me, and I'll know that it's real. Like all of that sometimes can just seem like a lot. And like, I'm not trying to cover females because I'm one, but I feel like sometimes we do a bad job when it comes to just like the forgiveness portion of it, which causes tension in the friendship. So that's me. But kind of going out of that, I have another question. Do you feel like, so as I stated, like I grew up a lot with like guys, just like thinking wise, right? Like boys and stuff. And
I know what you're about to ask.
I don't know why she's trying to, oh, okay. I was like, I don't know why she's trying to come from me. And I still, like when I was in college and stuff, I had like guy friends. I still have guy friends and things like that. And at first it was like more, but you know, we started to even out the boards, okay? So do you feel, because I know Kristin be feeling some type of way, do you feel that guys and girls can be friends?
You know, rip the whole area down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like it all depends on the definition of friends. So based off of my definition of friends, I feel like guys and girls can be acquaintances. I feel like we can be homies, but I just don't feel like, and when I say that, I don't feel like girls and guys can truly be friends. And my truly be friends is like, I never really understood the my guy best friend or my girl best friend type situation.
Okay.
Because I don't believe that, and it could be possible, and I would like y'all to show me. But I just don't believe that a girl and a guy can truly be friends for an extended amount of time, being close the way that I consider my friends to be close. And neither party ever have some form of physical or emotional attraction to one another. Okay. And so when I feel like that happens, I feel like the relationship now gets tainted a little bit. But the water starts to get a little cloudy. Not saying that one acts on it or whatever. Like when when a party acts on it, then I feel like the water is just muddy at this point.
Yes.
But I feel like even when your mindset and your thought process is there, I just don't feel like you can clearly give me just friend platonic advice because you kind of want me or I kind of want you.
So obviously we disagree. But I just want to know, like, are you saying that you feel like it depends on how the friendship starts? Or are you just saying because it's a man and a female that they cannot have a simple, pure platonic friendship. Because I feel, and I have friends, specifically one, who we started off as friends. Nothing weird. We've always been friends. And we talk and like we're very cool. We'll make jokes with each other, you know, like we talk often, I feel. Hang out is cool, you know what I'm saying? But I never felt in this type of way. I would highly doubt if he ever felt any type of way of like us wanting to be more than just simply friends. I feel like it's truly a pure platonic friendship. And like we've always left it that way. Like nobody's ever crossed any lines or tried nothing. Like it was just like, we're friends. Like
right.
So you're saying that you don't feel that there can be a friendship where neither party even thinks of it being more?
No, so I don't feel that it cannot be. I just feel like the depth of the relationship can only go so deep. I don't feel like...
Okay.
And that's why I always say acquaintances, because I personally have... I don't want to say difficulty, but if you're my friend, you're like my road dog. So I think that's maybe the difference, because I feel like people use the word friend very loosely and these really don't be their friends. Like I feel like y'all. Anyway, I would just say,
y'all. It's a lie.
What's a lie?
Because I agree on the sense of there are like levels, which we'll get into that. We get into it now. Levels. There are levels in the friendship. So there's a level of like, you know, this is like, I tell them everything. Like,
okay.
It don't matter what time of the day is. I will call them and be like, hey, yo, help me out.
What's that level?
Like close, like super, like my close,
so
you know, like my ride, yeah, like my ride or die, you know what I'm saying? And then there's another layer, right, of like friends, like we all cool. I talk to y'all, you know, we hang out, we like communicate every once in a while of like, you know, hey, how's it going? Anything I need to pray for? Just like, hey girl, how's your relationship going? I see y'all flexing, you know. That to me is friends. I feel like there's a difference. People be trying, like
so you feel like acquaintances is just like, hey, how you doing?
Acquaintance is my coworker. Like, hey girl, how's it going?
I don't really care.
Tell me about your weekend. But it's like we're acquaintances. Like you don't know nothing deep about me. We don't have no like serious, in-depth conversations where I'm like revealing pieces of me I feel like are very personal. You know what I mean? Like it's like surface. It's like our personal is based off of the business relationship we created. That to me is acquaintances. Like, you know, we cool. We just know of each other. Things like that. If I'm inviting you to birthday parties and stuff like that and I'm just randomly checking up on you, to me, I feel like that's a friend.
Okay. I'm gonna nut that up. Definition of friend says a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family relations.
So you gonna tell me?
Okay, so then
that you let me finish. You have no bonds or relationships with any males in your life that you could classify as a friend.
I really hate her.
That's
so based off of that definition, I would say yes, I do have friends. I would say that yes, then I'm gonna change it just a little.
A lot.
Just a little. So I feel like girls and guys can be friends, but I feel like it just takes an additional precaution. Like I feel like you just have to be more aware in those relationships than you do with the girl. Girl relationship.
I mean, I wouldn't agree with that. No, I'm not going to.
No.
The reason I say that though is I don't necessarily agree that it's like you have to put in extra precautions as much as the precautions look different. Because you have to go through your girlfriends and be cautious on, ooh, like, can I really trust you? Or ooh,
okay, yeah, but that would just be a friend precaution. I'm saying like you have.
Is he not a friend because he's a male?
I'm saying that you have to have friend precautions as far as making sure that the line of
it's like
relations are not crossed. Is what I'm saying, because I'm not gonna date my girlfriend.
Okay, I get that, but I feel like it really stems down to like, is this a genuine, pure friendship? I would check that with a female and I would check that with a man. Now, I agree that a lot of times it's easy for a guy-girl friendship to become muddy, especially in single situations. Obviously, I wish you would try it. In single relationships, when it's like we're both single, we're cool, seems like we get along very often, so then it is possible for you to consider like, well, you know, this could potentially be a future bae. I get that, and I agree that there are times where it can be muddy. I just don't feel that it's necessarily fair to say that guys and girls can't truly have pure platonic friendships. Let me finish. Friendships. And that it can't just be like more simple than how we're trying to like make it. Like, you're like, oh no, but then you gotta like check your boxes, girl. You gotta make sure.
Okay, well, that's clearly how it's being perceived. That's not what I'm trying to say. I see you blinking. What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, I do feel like both relationships, but in friendships in general, there's going to be check boxes that will be the same. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that I, Kristin, Joy Hale, don't feel like, I mean, not that I don't feel like, but I just feel like with platonic relationships, you just got to be more careful as far as the emotional sides. Because regardless, like, I feel like with friendships, there now becomes that emotional soul tie that you're creating with that person. Okay. And a lot of times, like, when you are in platonic relationships, especially if they are single and you're emotionally tied to this person now, you are going to start seeing qualities of them that you could see in a mate. Because if you see them in a friend, most times you can see it in a mate. And so I'm just saying, like, you need to make sure that if you ever get to that point, that you are now either saying, like, let me scoot back or let me cross the boundary. I don't know. It's up to you.
All right, so I think we've come to a slight agreement on the sense that guys and girls can be friends and have a pure platonic friendship. I just would like to change the narrative because, honestly, people will always be coming for me, and I just feel that that's not accurate. Like, I just was like, I agree, don't get me wrong, and honestly, in today's world, we're both bad, like girls and guys, but I feel like a lot of females, like when you just don't know how you feeling about homeboy, so you're just like, you know, we're friends, we're just friends, and it's like, he wants you, and you just not gonna give him the time of day. So no, like I
leaving him on, y'all know what y'all do.
Right. So I get that, you know, it gets messy in today's world, but I just feel like it's still possible for there to be a pure friendship. So I just wanted to change there on that really quick. But I do think it is imperative when we're talking about the levels to make sure that you're not trying to put everyone at the same level. Like how I said, you know, I have my people who Kristin said is a tribe. I said, you know, like my home, my ride or dies people, where it's like, I'll call you over anything. Like I'll talk to you about anything, like nothing's off limits. Those type of people, everybody ain't gonna make it to that level or that circle. You know what I mean? Like you have to be like, just conscious of like how you dictate how close or how distant somebody needs to be. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad person or that like this friendship is just not ever gonna work, as much as it's like you have to position them in the right places. Because I feel like sometimes in friendships, and like give me your take on it too, but like I feel like sometimes in friendships, because we're trying to put people in the wrong position, we get frustrated in the friendship and we're irritated, like they just not doing their job. When truth be told, that was never the position for them to play. You tried to make everybody be your ride or dies, and that's not where they were supposed to be. So I think that's something that people should stay aware to. I guess that's the best way of saying it. I'm just making sure, like checking, like what level does this person need to be on, or what part of the circle or portion of the circle, whatever, does this person need to like be in, because everybody can't be in the middle, everybody can't be at the top. It's just not gonna work. And sometimes you need the people who may not just know as much, so they'll give you just totally unbiased advice versus like, well, I know how you acted in that last situation, girl, so I'm gonna say, you know, like sometimes we don't need it. So I think that that's something that would be good advice. But what's your take on it?
No, I completely agree. Kind of like what we talked about in small group last 2 semesters ago. But just about like knowing the role for a person, the level of expectation you have for them, and making sure that that other party is aware of the expectation that you have for the relationship. So, okay, you can have a friend who is supposed to be the one who will be like, no girl, don't do that.
Right.
But all they being is your yes man. And it's like, now they're not playing in their role because they're just, yes girl, do it. Yeah, yes, you got it. Instead of being the one that's like pushing you past your limits and rubbing you almost the wrong way to get greater out of you. And so that if you don't know that that's the role that they're playing, you have expectations for them that you shouldn't have, one, and you aren't getting what you need from that friend. And then also in return, if you have these expectations but they don't know that they're supposed to be the one rubbing you the wrong way, they will be just saying yes, and so now you're going to value that relationship less because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So just making sure that everybody is in their role that they're supposed to be in and on whatever level they're supposed to be in, and then knowing that every level and every role has different expectations. So when you get in a job, like if you're at entry level, I just expect you to show up and do your job. But if you're a supervisor, you need to supervise these people. So like, you know what your role is. And so I think a lot of times, like, people don't like to look at friendships as like business operations, but ultimately it is, because like, you are the CEO of your own company, which is you. And so these are all of your, you know, people that are going to help you build your company. You're not going to just bring anybody in and just do whatever they want. But so yeah, I would definitely say that. But real quick, I just kind of want to touch on two things. I want to touch on creating your circle, and then firing your circle. So some people always say, be quick to fire and slow to hire. And I feel that way so strongly about friendships, and just that in a friendship, like, be slow to elevate people to different levels. Be slow to bring them in. Like, you have to allow someone to truly show you who they are. Right. Just because we get along, we like the same music, we like to travel, we can bond over budgeting.
Do
like,
not mean.
Okay, but that doesn't mean
that's your new roommate. You know what I'm saying?
Period. Like, do not move in with this person, you don't know them. No. You do not know them. So when they're nasty and they're dirty and they don't clean up, you could have figured that out if you had went on a trip. But anyway, so just being slow to bring in those people and getting out there. Like, we talk about how important it is to network and like meet new people and stuff like that. Same thing with friendships. So like, if you have a church that you go to, I know now a lot of churches are doing like small groups, so get plugged into stuff like that, or get plugged into serving and just different things like that. So, because if you're like me and Megan, we don't go out, so like, we go to work, we go to church, we come back home. And so we needed another outlet. And so we have, you know, the small group at our church. We go to an additional like young adult small group at another church. So just being willing and being open to date other circles, essentially, and find those people. And then as far as firing your circle, just be very... Yes, be quick to fire, because if they're messing up, like, either they need to come down levels or they just don't need to be there at all. But just making sure that you're able to analyze where they're supposed to go. Analyze where either they are supposed to be helping you grow in an area that's just rubbing you the wrong way, or if they know their expectations and they just aren't meeting those expectations, or whatever that may be. But that's what I would say about hiring and firing.
I like it. That's good. When you first said like quick to fire, I was like, dang, she like cut them off. No. Like, they gotta go. But once you broke it down, I understood what you were saying. So I feel like that's good advice. I mean, I feel like we got into a lot. We broke it down many different ways, as you guys can see. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to like reach out to us, leave it in the comments, give us your takes. Like, do you feel girls and guys can be friends?
Yes, I want to know.
Like, Kristin is
I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
She's still on the fence, as y'all can tell.
I'm trying.
So let us know. Keep us in the keep talking to us in the comments. Also, like, even the other stuff, like, are girls too emotional? Do you feel like they're not? Like, do you feel like it's equal? You know, just give us your opinions. We want to hear your voice too. So do not forget to click the subscribe button if you have not already. Before starting this video, we're not gonna judge, but we want you to be blessed. Amen. Also, click the bell to get notifications as to when our next episodes and things like that will come out. You can follow us on IG at _Hale Sisters. And then you can follow my personal page at I am Megan Hale, and Kristin's at
I am Kristin Joy _.
Beautiful. We'll go ahead and leave that in the description box lower for you guys as well, so it'll be easier for you guys to access. Hopefully this was good for you guys. Hopefully you got something out of it. Like we said, feel free to let us know your opinions. If you guys have any questions or want us to elaborate more, feel free to let us know about that as well. And that wraps up this episode. We look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye.